Lewis Hamilton has just reignited his passion behind the wheel of a Ferrari, and it feels like the entire Formula One grid is about to tremble. He isn't merely waking up, he's unleashing a roar that echoes through every paddock conversation. Critics said taming Ferrari's unpredictable car would be his biggest challenge yet, but they may have underestimated a 7-time world champion who thrives on proving doubters wrong. The moment he found the sweet spot in this notoriously fickle machine, everything changed. Not just for him, but for anyone hoping to keep him at bay this season. And if you think a small breakthrough isn't enough to turn the tables in Formula One, you're in for a reality check. Buckle up, because Hamilton's renaissance is only getting started. Just a few weeks ago, he appeared to hit rock bottom in Bahrain. Qualifying turned into a nightmare, leaving him buried in the midfield. Some pundits called it the beginning of the end. Yet when the lights went out on Sunday, Hamilton showcased exactly why you never write him off. He surged from P9 to P5 in a race that offered no freebies, no sudden downpour, no chaotic crashes, no last-second red flags to shuffle the order. In other words, there was no element of luck to camouflage poor performance or gift him overtakes. It was pure skill from start to finish. What made this particularly revealing was Charles Leclerc's performance. Leclerc started near the front, and Hamilton nearly matched him by the checkered flag. One began the race with a clean view of the track, the other stared at a forest of rear wings, yet Hamilton still managed to close that gap like it was child's play. That's not just raw pace, that's an acute understanding of race management, tyre strategy, and seizing opportunities at exactly the right moment. It's a statement, loud and clear, that no matter where he starts, Hamilton is capable of surpassing expectations. And if that was him, still in the learning phase, the rest of the grid should be on high alert. The most dramatic shift in Hamilton's approach comes down to something most casual fans overlook: the braking system. For years, he was inseparable from Carbone industry brakes, forming an almost instinctive bond with them. Switching to Brembo's might seem like a mere technical detail, but in the razor-thin margins of Formula One, it can feel like swapping out an entire driving philosophy. That brake pedal is a direct pipeline of information: how the car decelerates, when the tyres might lock, and how to balance the chassis in a corner. Suddenly, he's relearning the precise bite point under braking, the feedback through the pedal, and the timing that prevents those tiny lockups that can ruin a hot lap or degrade tyres in a race. This is muscle memory formed over decades, now being rewired in a matter of months. Most drivers wouldn't voluntarily endure this level of upheaval so late in their careers. But Hamilton doesn't see it as a stumbling block. He sees it as an invitation to grow and adapt. That mindset alone sets him apart. Where others might complain or seek an easy fix, he's methodically mastering each nuance, one corner at a time. And just when people assumed age or a comfort zone might slow his progress, he's proving that this new challenge is exactly what fuels him. It's not a step back, it's a strategic leap forward. Here's another rare quality. Hamilton openly admitted he was off the mark in the early stages with Ferrari. Instead of blaming engineers, tyre compounds, or external factors, he pointed the finger right at himself. He said he needed time to understand how this car wants to be driven, and he wasn't going to hide from that fact. That level of honesty is refreshing, especially in a sport where drivers often mask issues behind ambiguous phrases like "we'll look at the data" or "the balance wasn't quite there." His frankness highlights how he's always been a student of the sport, not just a star. By acknowledging his shortcomings, he effectively gave himself permission to experiment, to push harder in practice sessions, and to trust the team's feedback. The result? A steep learning curve that he's climbing at breathtaking speed. Each weekend, he's fine-tuning everything from his entry speed into corners to how he manages engine modes alongside the new brake feel. The transformation is unfolding in real time, and if he's already securing top 5 finishes without external chaos helping him, it's only a matter of time before he's eyeing the top step of the podium. It's one thing to bounce back after a rough session or two. It's another to methodically dissect your weaknesses and transform them into strengths. And judging by his pace and confidence, that process is well underway. Race day is often about consolidation, taking whatever package you have and extracting the best result possible. Yet Hamilton has approached each Grand Prix as part practice, part race, and part psychological warfare. He's been using strategic battles with mid-pack drivers to refine his new braking techniques, testing different lines and cornering methods he might not have dared to attempt if he was solely defending a podium position. In Bahrain, for instance, he demonstrated patience when overtaking, studying each rival's movement before pouncing at precisely the right moment. Every duel became an opportunity to adapt. Even if he lost a place due to an undercut, he seemed unbothered. He'd reclaim it with a better understanding of how to manipulate the car's grip and balance. It was as if every lap had a dual purpose: climb the order and gather invaluable data to sharpen his newfound approach. That's where his racer's intuition kicks in. Many drivers use practice sessions to test out big changes, but there's only so much you learn in the controlled environment of free practice. Hamilton isn't afraid to risk it all in the heat of battle. He'd rather refine his craft while the stakes are high, because that's the most accurate feedback you can get. And once he perfects that method, the rest of the field may struggle to figure out how he closed the gap so swiftly. But what if qualifying becomes just as revealing for him? One glaring difference between Hamilton and the front row contenders right now is qualifying performance. Getting swallowed by the midfield doesn't suit a driver who's made a career out of pole positions. Yet, the underlying reasons for his struggles aren't a mystery. Adapting to Ferrari's delicate balance, especially under low-fuel, high-intensity conditions, requires a distinct setup. Hamilton's still melding his personal driving style with the team's operational quirks. The moment these two align, watch out. Ferrari's leadership has hinted they're tailoring the car around Hamilton's feedback. It's not just about throwing parts at the car, but about refining the synergy between him and the machine. Once that synergy clicks on a Saturday, he won't be starting behind that swarm of midfielders. Imagine his Sunday race pace unleashed from the front rows. The question isn't whether he'll win, it's how often. And we're already glimpsing what happens when he strings it all together. A slight tweak here, a new setup adjustment there, and suddenly he's shaving off tenths of a second that keep him in contention. The timeline for perfection may be shorter than people think, especially with a championship pedigree urging everyone around him to pick up the pace. When the Scuderia brought Hamilton into the fold, they weren't simply hiring a driver with an impressive trophy cabinet. They were banking on his relentless drive to adapt and conquer challenges that would break others. Team principal Fred Vasseur emphasized that Ferrari would evolve alongside him, but Hamilton himself had to make significant strides. That synergy is precisely what we're witnessing. Ferrari is giving him a machine capable of greatness, but he's also reorganizing his own approach to unlock that potential. Fans sometimes misunderstand the driver-team relationship. They assume the car is perfect and the driver just has to manage it. But in reality, a top-tier outfit like Ferrari is as fluid as the driver's performance. They'll retool components, shift development priorities, and even rework entire strategies if it means securing that championship edge. Having someone like Hamilton, who demands excellence from himself first, sets a tone that resonates through every corner of the garage. The tension that often flares in a high-pressure environment seems to be channeled into constructive progress here. Hamilton's hunger aligns with Ferrari's ambition. When those forces unite, it's not just about winning a race or two, it's about shaking the entire competitive hierarchy. And if the Scuderia is backing him this much, it suggests they've seen glimpses of a world-beating combination that fans are only just starting to grasp.